fans of the far west might be wondering where they have been, as it's been over a decade since their last album. Finally, the LA-based Americana band is back with everything we thought we wanted, their long-awaited third album. Here are chief songwriters Robert Black and Lee Brianti to tell us what took so long.
Been living out west too long and I've grown soft. This rolling stone is now covered in moss.
Coming off the road, opening a bunch of shows for Dave and Phil Alvin.
Nice.
Which was very good, fun stuff. And then I had my wife was pregnant and she had our child, Alda, who's now 9.
Now graduated from college, right?
Yes, more or less. So yeah, that took us off the road for 2 or 3 years, and then COVID came around, and that shut everything down for everyone for another 2 or 3 years.
Sure.
And we had bits and parts of this record started. We never really were able to focus 100% on it until kind of the restrictions of COVID eased up, and then we started getting together and finishing each track. Some things needed very little work, some things needed a lot of work. But once those once there was some clarity on what COVID was and the vaccines came out and all that, we were able to finish it up. And then we wanted to give it a proper release, so we were shopping it around a little bit, and luckily the Blackbird record label was interested, and to put that all together and get a radio promo and a press publicity person, and that took another, I don't know, 6 or 8 months, and finally we're here.
Finally we're here. Very good. Well, so was it a stressful time for the band itself? Was there times when you didn't think it would ever happen?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We came back from the road. Go ahead, Robert.
Oh, there were songs we recorded that we didn't end up using, and songs that we really recorded little more than a scratch track, a scratch drum and vocal track. So we had to finish those as well. Luckily for us, our guitar player also, he does some session work, and he had a little overdub studio that we could record in. So we were able to, just 1 or 2 at a time go in there and finish our bits and overdubs.
Right.
But yeah, it was really a case of, I don't know if we'll be able to finish this or not. We don't know if our engineering skills are up to snuff. We self-produced this one, so we didn't really have anyone cracking the whip. And,
I guess I forgot that part of the story also, that we had snuck into a school of audio engineering here in LA and recorded bits and pieces on a hard drive that went missing for like 8 to 10 months.
Right.
So that was part of the delay. And then, the studio that Robert is talking about was in Altadena, and we almost lost everything in the fires there. Luckily, our guitar player, Aaron, when he was up there, he grabbed a few of his key guitars and whatever he could fit in his car, and he was leaving there with stuff on his lap. According to him, he had the car packed totally, and he was smart enough to grab the hard drive. He did lose his computer and all the software that recorded a lot of the stuff, and all his hardware that recorded a lot of the stuff, and a lot of musical equipment, but that also played into it. That fire definitely almost put us out of business, and a lot of other folks in that area too, for sure.
Right. So yeah, it sounds like a rough decade for you guys. Man, oh man. All right.
Yeah.
So, and my understanding is, from what I've read, that this is like the first time you actually recorded in an actual studio. Is that correct?
That's right.
Yeah. So first one we did, we played a lot at this little American Legion in Encinitas, just north of San Diego, and having no money, you get creative. So we basically asked them if they wouldn't mind if we recorded there. And a friend of ours had a bunch of mics and equipment, computers that he could bring into the Legion. So we did it that way. And then we replicated that a couple years later at a hot rod shop that he was working at.
Okay. Sounds like a good buddy.
Yes. Yeah. Colin, very good friend and great musician in his own right. And this one, with the act, again, it's when you have no money, you get creative. So Mike, who was playing piano with us, was a instructor at the school and basically had the keys. So he said,
That was a
class
mistake.
ends at 10 o'clock tonight. If you guys want to come in, we'll work from 10 till 4 a.m. and get what we can get. They have a great old Neve board, and I'm sure $1 million worth of microphones and equipment that we were able to sneak.
Nice.
Now I went by there recently. It's a ramen shop.
Oh, geez, that's not good. I wonder what they did with all the gear.
Yeah.
They moved to Texas, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So my understanding is the first track that you guys recorded, Hope I Don't Bleed, is that right? With Dave Alvin?
That's right.
And tell me how that came together.
Well, I hope I am sleeping when I die. Just laying there with my eyes shut tight. Yeah, I hope I am sleeping when I die, so I don't have to see that girl of mine crying.
We were on tour opening for Dave and Phil, and we got the gig because we had the same booking agent at the time, and it was going pretty well. You sort of feel each other out on the road. Do we like these guys? Dave and Phil are old punk rockers, so they're a
Yes.
lot of no nonsense. They're pretty gruff, but for whatever reason, we all hit it off, and we did a show in Washington, D.C., where there was an encore situation. We're opening band, so we're not going to do encores.
Right.
But Dave came to me afterwards in the dressing room, and he says, "Hey, you guys should do an encore." And I said, "Well, we're the opening band. That's inappropriate." And he says, "Yeah, but it makes me look bad." And I said, "Okay, if it comes up again, we'll do an encore if you'll join us on stage," which was a dream of mine. I grew up a Blasters fan.
Sure.
And he said, "Yeah, let me think about that." And we're in Boston, and he said, "I'll bet you guys will get an encore tonight. Let me come out and join you. Maybe I'll join you tonight." And we said, "Okay, we'll figure out a song." And he says, "Well, everyone knows White Freightliner by Townes Van Zandt." We said, "We'll do that. We'll close with that." And he was right. In Boston, we did well. The crowd cheered for an encore, and I, was working the crowd a little bit and said, "Hey, we'd love to do an encore, but sorry, we're the opening band. It's inappropriate." And that just got the crowd more excited. And then I said, "Well, maybe if Dave would come out and join us." And then he jumps out, and it was a great encore. When everybody was getting along so well, our last show was 1 or 2 nights later, and we said, "Hey, maybe join us in LA, and we're starting to record a record." And he said, "Sure." Yeah, Lee, I think you have more. You talked to Dave about recording with us. You might have more details on that. Did you call him, or you called him a few days once we got back to LA? Said,
Yeah,
"Hey,
I think he said, "I'll be back in February. Give me a shout." And so we did. And he said, "Oh, I'll come in Monday night or something like that. Will you guys be there?" Yeah. And so my wife went into labor Saturday night, and my kid was born on Sunday, and then we were over in a hospital in Santa Monica, and I didn't want to miss the Dave thing, but I didn't want to reschedule. I didn't want to get my wife angry, so ended up being a non-issue because she knew it was coming up. She said, "No, go ahead. We're just sleeping here in the hospital, so go ahead." So I blasted over there, and Dave showed up. We didn't want to jeopardize losing him or rescheduling it or whatever. So when I was in the hospital, the guys laid down some bass and drums and a pad for him to work off of. And then, he came in and scorched a solo through that song.
Nice one. And who wrote the song? It was because I know you guys are the writers.
Yeah, we split songwriting. That's one I've been toying with, but couldn't figure out an arrangement for like a while. And we had some rough sketches of what the approach should be, but those guys really figured out the kind of swampy, atmospheric vibe that it ended up taking when I was absent, and it works really well.
Right. So do you usually write together or separately, or how does the creative process work between the two of you?
I think we usually write separately most of it. I think we'll bring in a song when it's somewhere between 70 to 90% done. And then I feel like the last stage of writing is letting the band put their stamp on it.
Right.
And I might say to Lee, I've got this bit, but I don't have I don't have another. I'm missing half the last verse. Can you help out? And he'll do the same. We'll suggest lyrics on the spot, until we're done routining it, and then we'll go into record once it's finally done. So it's mostly we write separate, but really it really does take the band to finish it and make it a Far West song.
All
We need
righty.
each other to do that. Yeah.
And I noticed you got a couple of tracks that you have some horns on, These Lies and Meet Me Where We Parted Last. And tell me how that came to be.
We had used Nick, and so on These Lies is students of the School of Audio Engineering.
She'll come back, just wait and see. She's been crying every day. She tells me she's been lonesome over me. And this heart can stay strong, and I won't cry for her when she's gone. I tell myself these lies each night to go on.
So part of the deal over there was the lessons would include how do we mic horns, or how do we mic a solo singer or an acoustic guitar or an acoustic piano or a baby grand or whatever. So
Right.
when Mike had a opportunity like that, he would say, why don't you come in and we'll get them to play horns on the song.
Oh, I see. Nice
So
one.
in that case, it's like, okay, we're going to teach the kids how to mic a saxophone. And some of these students were horn players.
Yep.
It works really well. There was 3 or 4 of them. It's very deflated, kind of melancholic horns on These Lies that I really think works perfectly. It sounds something like the band used to do with those guys not being horn players per se, Garth, but getting by on French horn or something.
Yeah.
So that worked in that case. And sometimes we'd even get paid on those, which was funny. The School of Audio Engineering would hope, I think what's the legal term, Robert? When time passes, so you can't be convicted of something.
Yeah.
Parole. Or
Yeah.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
I think the statute of limitations.
So you're
has
using
expired.
their students and their studio,
Yeah.
and you're getting paid for it in the process.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
right.
Nice
exactly.
game. There's a scam.
Yeah. So they
that
would
was a
say,
royal
hey, here's
scam.
$100 for being having to come in and help with the lesson. And then the other one, Meet Me Where We Parted Last, we had used Nick on Any Day Now on Leonard, the song Leonard.
Right.
And he's a professional studio guy that in this case, he turned those in remotely, I think during COVID. But yeah, he knows kind of instinctually what to do.
Well, I can't recall the future, but I can predict the past. Oh yeah, won't you meet me where we parted last?
We were going for like a Muscle Shoals or Stax vibe on that,
Right.
and he just nailed it.
Nice.
So we just said we want it to sound like, Otis Redding doing Satisfaction or something like that. And he says, I got it. And he not only did he played like 3 horns and 6 parts, doubled everything up, played different parts, and we could just layer it until it sounded right for the song. It was fabulous.
Right. Very cool.
But These Lies is an example of what I was talking about earlier about the band putting their stamp on it. It was originally conceived as like a slow shuffle, like Dwight Yoakam would have done in the 80s.
Right.
But everybody else heard it and said, no, this is the band in 72. So we went that direction, and then the horns just fit perfectly.
Yeah. Very cool. And the other guest that I can see has someone named Katie Stratton on For the Birds. So
Yes, sir.
She's in a band called The What For, is that right?
That's right.
All right.
Yeah, and they're fabulous. Have you heard any of their stuff yet?
No, I have not.
Their record comes out, I want to say next week. It's great. It's got like up-tempo 50s and 60s vibes. You know, they've got an upright bass player
Nice.
who plays kind of rockabilly. I think their drummer was, I think he might have played with Tiger Army, so he's got like a good rock and roll or rockabilly feel too. And their stuff is just so much fun. You know, yeah, she plays a Dan Electro. The other guitar player plays a Gretsch. It just has a fabulous 50s, 60s sound, and it's a lot of fun. But she likes classic country, and we said, can you do something that sounds, like Iris DeMent singing with John Prine, and she nailed it.
Our love is a song that we no longer sing. Forgot the words, most the melody. And if I asked you to, I bet you'd probably say, singing's just for birds anyway.
And I kind of like Better Days. You got the rocking. There's like a accordion and some piano happening there. What's going on there?
I wrote that song in about 15 minutes. It just fell into my lap. I woke up one morning and said, I want to live in better days. And believe it or not, it was before Trump was involved in politics. It was before COVID or any of that. People have said, is this about our current situation? It's not.
Right.
I wrote it back in 2014 before we could conceive of any of this. And it just fell out of the sky. And right from the start, I felt like it was a Dr. John, a New Orleans R&B song. And we leaned into it.
Many years from now, maybe things will look better. We'll look back on the hard times, say maybe those were the best days ever. Lately this grind is making me feel blue. I know it's hard, had a toll on you too. Get up, go to work, do it all again. Work holiday life, ain't nothing gonna change. I wanna live in better days.
So you mentioned the current state of affairs there in the States.
Yes, sir.
Does that weigh heavily on your minds? Does it affect what you're doing with the music and the band, and when you're out and about and on the road?
I worry. I worry that I think we all worry from selfish points of view. Like, I worry that we can maintain an environment where artists can continue to thrive and make a living and tour. I feel like whatever the politicians, like, we just got back from Little Rock, Nashville,
Right.
Amarillo, Texas, some pretty red states.
Yep.
Everybody's getting along great. We had
Good.
great conversations with everyone. The American spirit, I still find is pretty collaborative, and we work together, and there's a lot of esprit de corps out there, in spite of the fact that, our politics personally might be different from people we ran into. So I'm hopeful, and someone pointed out to me that some of the best American art happened during the Reagan years. So
there is that, but do we have to go through that again?
Do we really have to go through that to get another black flag? I don't know.
Yeah, well,
I don't know.
we have to suffer for our art, I guess.
I guess so.
But I do love, I think I found a slogan that I don't know is yours or who can, you make horribly painful songs that you can dance to. Is that your
Yeah, that's been our motto from the start. The horribly was added on the fly recently. We used to just say we made painful songs that you can dance to. And that's been true across our records. They're mostly 90% sad songs.
Yeah.
About sad stuff falling apart. I don't know why we live in that.
Yeah, well, sad.
Ask my therapist.
All right, we will. We'll get it right on that. All right, so now you got the album finally together and coming out. What's next for the band? Is it going to be another 10 years before the next record, or are you thinking?
Yeah.
We want to make sure this one gets the love and attention it deserves, having been such a long labor. We want to make sure that people hear it. So we're hoping that it gets out on the radio stations and gets far and wide across the Americana scene. That would be the immediate goal, is to make sure it hits all the eardrums.
Are there radio stations that play this stuff? Because I have no idea how radio works. I used to work in radio in the States, but that was in the 80s.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's it less than used to be, but there's an Americana radio system, radio charts for this type of genre, and
right,
independent on the low end of your dial usually.
Right. The low
it's
end
out
of the
there.
dial.
Yeah.
That sounds like a song right there. Yeah, well, and do you get outside of the States? Do you tour around the rest of the world much?
Not yet.
Not yet. All right. Well,
We'd love to. We know we have fans in the Netherlands and France and Spain. We hear from them, and they say, "Come play here." So, I don't know if we're quite ready, but we'd love to.
If you enjoyed this episode of the 13th Floor's Music Talk series, please be sure to subscribe to the website or to the YouTube channel. Follow us on Facebook or Instagram, and wherever you find your podcasts. There's a whole lot more to discover.